Hello students, this is Dharamvi sir here. Today we are going to continue with chapter 5, that is continuity and differentiability. We have learned about continuity in our previous video. Today's topic is differentiability of function. You must have a basic idea of differentiation as we have learned about derivatives in grade 11th also. So today we are going to continue with that only. Clear? So let's start. So the first topic is differentiability. Now we have learned about first principle in grade 11th. So differentiability of the function f is defined as f dash x equals to limit h tends to 0 fx plus h minus fx upon h, where the limit exists is said to be the derivative of f at x. Now we have learned about this in grade 11th also. This is called the first principle of derivatives, that a function is said to be differentiable if limit h tends to 0 fx plus h minus fx upon h exist. Clear? And it is denoted by f dash x. So whenever we have to show that a function is differentiable, then we have to apply this principle and find the limit. If the limit exists, then the function is said to be differentiable. Clear? So pause and note down the definition. Next is differentiability of a function at any point in its domain. Now let that point be C. Now we say that the function is differentiable at the point C if both limit h tends to 0 minus fc plus h minus fc upon h, which is called the left-hand derivative, denoted by L f dash c, that is left-hand derivative of f at C, and limit h tends to 0 plus fc plus h minus fc upon h, which is called the right-hand derivative, denoted by R f dash c. Clear? Now these two limits must exist, they must have a finite value, and both are equal. If this criteria is there, that left hand derivative and right hand derivative exist and they are equal, then the function is said to be differentiable at that particular point x equals to c in the domain of the given function. Very simple. We have learned about limits, left hand limits, right hand limits. Simply we have to find the left hand limit of the given function at the point c and right hand limit of the function at the point c. Clear? If both exist and both are equal, then this function is said to be differentiable at that particular point. Clear? So pause and note down the definition. Now there are certain points which you must remember, that a function y is equal to fx is differentiable in open interval AB if it is differentiable at every point of AB. Suppose we have an open interval 3 to 6, then the given function is said to be differentiable in that open interval if it is differentiable at all the points between 3 and 6, that is it must be differentiable at 4, 5 and etc. between those two points. Clear? Now second is, the function y is equal to fx is said to be differentiable in the closed interval AB if right hand derivative of the function at a, that is r f dash a, and left hand derivative of the function at b, that is left L f dash b exist, and f dash x also exists for every point of open interval AB. Now for the closed interval, the function must be differentiable. The limit must, right hand limit at a and left hand limit at b must exist, and f dash x exists for every point of open interval AB. Then the function is said to be differentiable in the closed interval of AB. Clear? Now third is very important, that every differentiable function is continuous. Every differentiable function is continuous, but the converse is not true. Clear? Clear? That if a function is differentiable, then it is compulsory that the function will be continuous. But the converse, that a function is continuous, then it is not necessary that the function will be differentiable. I hope you understood. So pause and note down the points. Now next, if u and v are functions of x, then we have learned these three properties in grade 11th also, that differentiation of addition, that u plus the differentiation of u plus or u minus v is equal to what? Differentiation of u plus differentiation of v, or differentiation of u minus differentiation of v. So d upon dx, u plus minus v is equal to what? du upon dx. We have to find the differentiation of u plus u, then plus or minus differentiation of v. Clear? Second is that called product rule. We have learned this product rule in grade 11th, that differentiation of u into v is equal to what? U differentiation of v plus v differentiation of u. That is first function differentiation of second function plus second function differentiation of first function. And third one was called a quotient rule or division rule. The differentiation of u upon v is equal to what? First we have to take the square of the denominator. So v differentiation of numerator minus u differentiation of denominator. Clear? So pause and note down these points. Next is chain rule of differentiation. Now the definition of this one is quite tricky, but the application is very simple. So first let's start with the definition. That chain rule of differentiation is a rule to differentiate composition of function, that more than one function is there. So let f is a composition of v and u, v o u. We have learned about composition of functions. So differentiation of df upon dx is equal to what? D upon dx equals to dt upon dx into dv upon dt, where t is a function of x. Confusing, na? I know. But when you apply this property, the sums are going to be very simple. Simply, if you have, suppose I have a function sine cos x, sine bracket cos x. So it is a composition of two functions. One is sine, second is cos. Clear? So it is called a combination. So first we have to differentiate sine, then multiplied by differentiation of cos. It is very simple. So let me give you an example of this. So I have taken an example. We have to find the derivative of tan 2x plus 3. So as you can see that this is the composition of two functions. Tan is trigonometric function and 2x plus 3 is what? Polynomial function. So let y is equal to tan 2x plus 3. So differentiating with respect to x, we have to differentiate d upon dx tan 2x plus 3. Now simple. Find the differentiation of tan first. First goes first. First is tan, so we have to find the differentiation of tan. And we know that differentiation of tan is what? Sec square. So we get sec square 2x plus 3. So we have differentiated tan. Now we have to multiply it by the differentiation of 2x plus 3. So we are getting sec square 2x plus 3 multiplied by differentiation d upon dx of 2x plus 3. Clear? Now differentiation of 2x plus 3 is what? We have learned that x differentiation of x is 1. So we are getting 2. And differentiation of any constant, that is 3, is equal to what? 0. So simply we are getting 2 sec square 2x plus 3. Clear? It's very simple. Take the first function first. Take the differentiation of tan, then take the differentiation of 2x plus 3. Multiply both, you will get your answer. So let me explain one more example. Differentiate sine cos x square with respect to x. Now you can see that there are three functions. One is sine, second is cos, third is x square. Yes, sine, then cos, then x square. So by chain rule we have to first differentiate sine, then we have to differentiate cos, then we have to differentiate x square. It's that simple. So let y is equal to sine cos x square, given function. So differentiating with respect to x, we are getting dy upon dx. So first we have to differentiate sine. So differentiation of sine is what? Cos. So we are getting cos of cos x square. So you can see this third step, that d upon dx cos x square. Now we have to differentiate cos. And the differentiation of cos is what? Minus sine. So differentiation of cos x square is minus sine x square. Now as you look in the fourth line, that we are again differentiating d upon dx of x square, because the third function was x square. So we have to multiply the differentiation of that. And differentiation of x square is what? 2x. So we are getting the final one as minus cos of cos x square. This was for sine x square, for this one for cos x square, and 2x for x square. So simple multiplication of these three will get your final answer. So it is as chain rule. The definition was quite tricky, but when you solve few examples for this, it is very simple. First, second, third, fourth, how many functions are, it doesn't matter. Just differentiate each one and multiply. First was sine, so we took the differentiation of sine. Second is cos, so we took the differentiation of cos. Third is x square, so we will take the differentiation of x square and multiply them all. Clear? So let's start with exercise 5.2. Now question 1 is differentiate the function with respect to x, and the function is sine x square plus 5. So you can see that there are two functions. One is sine and the second one is x square plus 5. So we can simply apply chain rule and find the differentiation. So in the solution you can see that first we have taken the differentiation of sine, and differentiation of sine is what? Cos. So we are getting cos x square plus 5. So we have to multiply it by differentiation, that d upon dx of second, that is x square plus 5. And differentiation of x square plus 5 is what? X square is 2x and 5 is constant. So differentiation of 5 is 0. Clear? So we are getting cos x square plus 5 multiplied by 2x plus 0. So our final answer is 2x multiplied by cos x square plus 5. I've told you that chain rules are very simple. Just find the differential of each part and multiply. Clear? So pause and note down the solution. Next I have solved question number 4. Differentiate the functions with respect to x, and the function is sec tan under root x. So you can see that there are three functions. Sec is there, tan is there, and root x is also there. So simply applying chain rule. So first we have to find the differentiation of sec. What is the differentiation of sec? It is sec x tan x. So we are getting sec tan root x and tan root x. So we have to multiply it by the second one, that differentiation of tan root x. Now tan differentiation of tan is what? Sec square. So for tan root x we are getting sec square root x. So second part is done. Now third is root x. So we have to find the d upon dx of root x also. Root x means x power half, and we know how to differentiate x power n. Clear? So differentiation of root x is what? 1 upon 2 root x. So simply multiplying these three parts, that differentiation of sec, differentiation of tan, and differentiation of root x, you are getting our final answer. Clear? So pause and note down the solution. Moving to question 5. Differentiate the function with respect to x. Function is sin ax plus b upon cos cx plus d. Now you can see that this is in the form of division. So we have the division rule for differentiation, that is u upon v was there. So, and we know that the differentiation is equal to what? You can see that f dash, I've written f dash equals to g dash h minus g h dash upon h square, which is simple, that differentiation of numerator multiplied by denominator minus numerator multiplied by differentiation of denominator upon denominator ka square. This was the property that we have learned for the division rule. So here our numerator is sin ax plus b upon, and denominator is cos cx plus d. So simply putting the differentiation of numerator and denominator in the given formula, you will get your final answer. So sin ax plus b, differentiation of sin ax plus b will be equal to what? First sin, remember the chain rule also, sin ax plus b is two functions are there. One is sin, second is ax plus b. So differentiation of sin will be equal to what? Cos ax plus b, and the differentiation of ax plus b is equal to what? Only a, because x is 1 and b is 0. So put these values in the given form, that is f dash equals to g dash h minus gh dash upon h square. You will get your final answer. So pause and note down the solution. Moving to question 7. Differentiate the function with respect to x, and the function is 2 under root cot x square. Not 2 is constant, we are not bothered about 2. So taking that outside the differentiation. So we have two functions, one is cot, another is x square. So you can see that first we have differentiation of cot. Yes. So differentiation of cot x square is equal to what? Differentiation of cot x square is equals to, we have first taken 1 upon 2 under, first because we have to take the consider the power also. So we are getting 1 upon 2 into under root cot x square, and differentiation of cot x square only. So we have differentiation root, power was there. Now we are going to differentiate cot. So differentiation of cot is minus cos x square, we know that. So we are getting minus cos x square x square. And now we have x square also. So we have to differentiate d upon dx of x square. So for x square we are getting 2x. Now you might be confused that why we are getting 1 upon 2 under root cot x square. Because this cot x square is also under root. So which is a power of half. And we know that for the differentiation of power half, x power n, we have to apply the formula of x power n here. That is why we are getting 1 upon 2 under root cot x square. Clear? So after simplification you will get your value. Pause and note down the solution. Next is question number 10. Prove that the greatest integer function defined by fx equals to x bracket x 0 less than x less than 3 is not differentiable at x equals to 1 and x equals to 2. Now we have to prove that this function is not differentiable. So whenever we have to prove, we have to apply our first principle. Now we are going to check the left hand derivative and right hand derivative at the point x equals to 1 and at x equals to 2. So first starting with x equals to 1. Now limit s tends to 0 minus fc, c is equal to what? 1 here. So we are getting f1 plus h minus f1 upon h. So we are getting now f we are getting bracket 1 plus h minus 1. You remember greatest integer function? Yes, it is the, for example, if we have to find the greatest integer of 3.2, it is 3. If we have to find the greatest integer function 2, it is also 2, just less than the given, less or equal to the given integer. So we are getting what? We are getting 0 minus 1 upon h, or minus 1 upon h, which is equal to infinite. Therefore the limit does not exist. Now taking the right hand limit at x equals to 1, so limit s tends to 0 plus f1 plus h minus f1 upon h. So again after solution we are getting what? 1 minus 1 upon h, that is 0. So you can see that the left hand derivative and right hand derivative are not equal at point x equals to 1. So the function is not differentiable. Clear? So we have learned about differentiability at a point during the first principle, that if the left hand derivative and right hand derivative are equal, then it is differentiable. But here at x equals to 1 both are not equal. Hence the function cannot be differentiable at x equals to 1. Now we have to check the differentiability of the given function at x equals to 2 also. So again we have to consider the left hand limit and right hand limit. So left hand limit, limit s tends to 0 minus f c plus h, c is equal to 2. So we are getting f2 plus h minus f2 upon h. So we are getting limit s tends to 0 minus 2 plus h minus 2 upon h. So in value we are getting 1 minus 2 upon h. Clear? 1 minus 2 upon h. Done. So hence we will get limit s tends 0 minus, so minus 1 upon h equals to infinite. And same for right hand limit. Can you say why I have taken 2 plus h equals to 1? So h equals to what? 0 minus. 0 minus means less than 0. Suppose very mildly less than 0. It will be some negative number. So 2 plus some negative number means equals to what? Less than 2. Suppose it 1.99. And the greatest integer function for 1.99 equals to what? 1. By definition just the smaller integer. That is why 2 plus h is written as 1. Clear? So consider the right hand limit also at x equals to 2. Now limit s tends to 0 plus f2 plus h minus f2 upon h. So 2 plus h is there. So 2 plus some 0 plus some very small number. So 2.001 can be there. And 2.001 to the nearest integer is what? 2. So in place of 2 plus h we are getting 2. So 2 minus 2 upon h, that is 0. So again we can see that the left hand derivative and right hand derivative at x equals to 2 are not equal. Clear? So the function is not differentiable. Why? Because the left hand derivative and right hand derivative are not equal at the point x equals to 2. Clear? So pause and note down the solution. So I hope this exercise is very simple. You can solve the rest of the sums by your own, and don't forget to solve the examples. All the best and thank you.